U.S. aircraft manufacturer Boeing is in the spotlight again. The U.S. Congress is holding back-to-back hearings on Wednesday, examining safety failures on the company's aircraft. Among those testifying is whistleblower Sam Salehpour. The Boeing engineer has warned of alarming manufacturing deficiencies and is calling for more than 1,000 Boeing planes to be grounded. Allegations of safety failures aren't new. Boeing faced heavy criticism in January when a door plug flew off a 737 MAX jetliner while it was in flight. In 2018, one of its jets crashed in Indonesia, killing all 189 people on board. The following year, yet another crash in Ethiopia killed 157 people. Boeing says it's taken steps to ensure safety procedures, but some employees have claimed pressure to meet deadlines led to low quality control and dangerous manufacturing shortcuts. Todd is a former airline safety engineer for Boeing and the CEO of airsafe.com, and he's joining us live from San Francisco. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Curtis. So one of the committees has invited a panel of aviation experts who released a report recently criticizing what they called Boeing's inadequate and confusing safety culture. Does Boeing have a problematic safety culture?
Well, clearly this is something that has been talked about. In fact, there was an agreement with the U.S. government in 2021 that identified severe shortcomings with the 737 MAX program. And to this day, the Boeing is under some investigation related to that, related to the 737 MAX door event in January. But getting to the two hearings today, one of them is from a committee that has been working for several months, trying to understand Boeing's process for certifying new aircraft. Because this process is very complex, that needs expertise with a deep knowledge of the technology, the Federal Aviation Administration often allows organizations like Boeing, manufacturers, to have their own employees certify that the aircraft is meeting all regulatory requirements. And this is a very serious responsibility. And one of the difficulties is that these are people who are, on the one hand, working on behalf of the Federal Aviation Administration. On the other hand, they're being paid by the manufacturer, in this case, Boeing.
But isn't that a very problematic conflict of interest?
It's a potential conflict of interest, and it's one that the FAA recognizes, and there have been efforts, ongoing efforts for decades, to make sure that the process is secure, that the information gets to the U.S. government the way it should. And because of the huge amount of work that has to be done for any aircraft certification, the FAA has traditionally put in place a program that allows manufacturers with limits to have their employees work on the behalf of FAA. And when things fail, when information is hidden from the FAA, which happened with the 737 MAX, then the government will step in and make changes.
Okay, but you've said that one of the investigation has been taking place for 3 years now. The allegations from the whistleblower are incredibly serious, including that sections of the 787 Dreamliner's fuselage or the main body weren't connected properly, could break up during flight after being worn down over time. I mean, when can we expect the investigation into this to conclude? Is it okay for the 787 Dreamliner to be flying in the meantime?
Well, the 787 has had problems when it was first put into service about a decade ago. And in fact, it had been grounded for several months for an entirely different set of reasons. The allegations from this whistleblower are indeed serious. And I would hope that in the hearing that's happening today, that some of the facts will come to light and that appropriate action will be taken. Whether or not there was actually issues going on with the assembly line or with the design of the 787, that will take a while to understand. And it may be months or even years before the full story is understood and action is taken by the U.S. government.
Mr. Curtis, thank you very much for your time, for your expertise on this. That is Todd Curtis, live in San Francisco.
Thanks for having me.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.